Hello, welcome back to part two of my interview with Chiara, the Texas indigenous activist, artist, just general cool person about town. Yeah. Um, don't forget, I have a YouTube channel, Compost Modernism. It's like postmodernism, but it's in the compost. Don't forget to go check that out. I upload all of these episodes to the YouTube feed as well as video essays that I make. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to everything that I put out if you're into it. I really appreciate you being here. Power first.
Anytime there's a minute shift in power from the people who are holding the power, a battle ensues.
Yeah, so one of the main disagreements that happens kind of, or that exists like on a fundamental level on the left, the right, very broad terms, is like showing up somewhere and being like, I have a big gun. There's a person here that doesn't have a big gun. I'm gonna kill them and take their shit. Is that wrong? Yes or no? Right? Like that is like a serious fundamental disagreement that exists in the American like political mind, right? Yeah. Obviously, whoever's saying that, whoever's thinking that, like, if I just showed up and killed their whole family or whatever and took all their stuff, like they wouldn't be like, oh, no harm, no foul. It's like, okay, yeah. I guess it's yours now. Like, obviously that doesn't exist at every level of like their, how they interface with the world, but like that is how a lot of times it gets justified, right? It's like, oh, we were just conquering and your people got conquered and like sucks for you. Yeah. So, like what do you say to that headspace, I guess, and like what do you do with it? Like what is to be done?
Because those are two different things, what I say and what I do. So yeah, this happens to me all the time. What I say about it is very different than what I do about it. So what I say about it is that these people like they're racist, whether because it's just ingrained within them and it's just how they live their life now, or whether it's them actively making a choice to just dislike anybody who isn't white. So these are racist people. To be racist, you have to be either ignorant or just wholly unintelligent. There are some racist, ignorant people who have changed their ways because they met and befriended a black or a brown person. Through learning about that person, they educated themselves, got a little more intelligent, a little less ignorant. More and more, they stopped being racist, they changed. So this isn't like a permanent place to be. But when I encounter them, I know that they have never seen an indigenous woman as confident and beautiful as me. And they felt like
threatened by your radiance.
Yes. They were like, oh my God, she's gorgeous. Oh no.
Yeah. I'm feeling things.
yeah. Oh my God. Ew. Yeah. But she's so beautiful. Oh no. And so like to combat that feeling of like desire and lust and like adoration, really, they have for me, they have to make it right by like saying hateful things to kind of maintain balance within their lives. That's what I say. However, what I actually do, like in all reality, is I understand what it is like to not know anything about something that you have to be confronted with, that you have been taught is the exact opposite of what is actually reality. These people most times are, to no fault of their own, publicly educated people, and we all know here in America our public school system is failing a lot of children. To no fault of the teachers, most times it's just the curriculum that is either like state mandated or federally mandated to indoctrinate people into American propaganda that is just fundamentally incorrect. These people were taught incorrectly that my tribe were cannibals, that we were 7-foot tall giants that we like didn't know how to live on our land, that we were nomadic, so we didn't know how to establish settlements, not true, and that we were vicious to them. All that's untrue, and all of it can be explained and corrected, but they were taught that in elementary school or middle school during crucial, fundamentally developing like parts of their lives. Excuse me. And then they go out in their lives in their small town communities most times. No bashing to small town living. I love small town living, but what happens is you create this really beautiful, comfortable echo chamber where then you go and watch movies where the indigenous peoples are the savages and the white cowboy is saving the damsel in distress, and all that's happening is you are constantly being validated in your prejudice. And so then when they meet me, whether it's online or in person, very few times, I can count them on like one hand, if somebody is actually talking to me, like I will talk to them. And every single time I talk to these people, we've ended on a common ground. In person, a lot of times that's able to happen, but then there's like a spectrum. Like there's the person who is like, I know, y'all were cannibals, said so my middle school teacher. And I'm like, what middle school? And they'll be like, oh, so-and-so.
Robert E. Lee
like,
middle school.
Yeah, right. Like so-and-so, like whatever the hell. I'm like, oh, well, did you know that curriculum is like decided on by like these different powers? And that actually, if you literally look at these different archival texts, like accounts, handwritten accounts from settlers and anthropologists and linguists and geologists, you can see evidence that also counters that, and that there's a reason why. So there's those people, and then there's just people who just are unintelligent and they're comfortable. And why would they want to change their minds? That's how they live their whole lives. Yeah. And so what I say is that these are just uncomfortable people who don't have the emotional intelligence to navigate more critical thinking, and they're not interested in it. Or these are victims of American propaganda who are having an incredibly emotionally difficult time realizing that everything they had been taught now likely is a lie, and that there's a reason why they're being taught that. And I can completely understand why that would be very distressing and why they wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I was a preschool teacher for a super long time.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And so I know very well how to speak with other human beings who know nothing about what you want to teach them about, and who are also very, like, not combative, but who are very like, why? How come? Why? But that's not what my mommy told me. I'm like, well,
your mommy's wrong.
Yeah, well, sometimes your mommy's wrong, and I'm very sorry. I know that has to hurt. I can do that. Yeah. That's natural to me. So it's no true labor for me to do that. But those are different ways that I encounter those situations.
Yeah. I mean, the social media of it all always, the incentives for communication there are just always rushing to the lowest common denominator of understanding, and just like, just let me say some bullshit on your, whatever your post is. And
my favorite thing is when they just come for my looks. I think that's the most incredible. Just because that's like so lowbrow. Yeah. I'm like, boo.
Like they call you ugly or something?
Yeah, like my tribal markings, or like I have like a horse smile or whatever the hell. But that's my point. I'm like,
it's like, bro, you're just
what the hell? Grasping for straws over here. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Nice try, dude. Yeah.
That's your opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm talking about actual history here.
Yeah, fuck them. So what I see you have land back tattooed on your knuckles. What does land back mean to you?
To me, land back means returning the ancestral and contemporary homelands to the original peoples who had been stewarding them the longest. So these are indigenous peoples. And giving them total sovereignty over that land, and never again fucking with them. Just let them do it.
There you go.
Yeah, through whatever means necessary.
Yeah. As a person that is passionate about land also, like, I think, kind of back to the question we were just talking earlier, like, is it possible to kill the colonizer within? Mm-hmm. To me, as a, settler, what I would say if someone asked me that question, what I would say to them is the first way that you start to do that is to change your relationship to the land from one of extraction to one of stewardship, or just kind of like, that doesn't mean like, oh, I'm gonna go buy some land and like plant 1,000,000 trees, or like that. Just like that, right. That change happens in your mind before you claim any land as your own or whatever. Like, as a person that has aspirations to own land, it's like, yeah, well, but then, but that's from a desire to also steward. Mm-hmm. Just like, but like, if I was rich, if I won a lottery tomorrow, I would go out and spend as much as I could justify as just buying tracts of land, mm-hmm. right? Just buying, like, okay, no one's ever going to touch this now. Because just seeing land be killed by just the ugliest developments ever. Every time I go back home to Florida, it's just like another place that I hung out at as a kid and like ate blueberries in the woods is a fucking strip mall or some bullshit. And like, that is just so deeply painful to my soul. So yeah, just all that is to say, just like, I've wondered about different structures of like creating like communal land ownership, where it's like, hey, like, this is in an effort to, this is just, I'm kind of brainstorming here now, but just like, this is something I thought about, or maybe about organizations like this that exist, where it's like, hey, okay, so the goal here is land back. But obviously, like, that is, like, land is expensive. Like, we live in, a private property regime that exists to dice it up, slice it up, sell it to the highest bidder, and then they can do whatever they want with it, right? But it's like, do you know of any organizations that exist to kind of bring people together that have this land back ethos, that want to, give land back to indigenous land stewards that are kind of like collective, like, that can kind of like pool resources, or yeah, just the ability to buy land and then cede it back to indigenous people?
Yes and no. Because I think that if we're talking about organizations that are like, hey, we're going to buy this land, mm-hmm. and we want to collaborate with all the indigenous peoples and have a collaborative mutual relationship for all of us on this land, to me, that's not land back. That's land collaboration. Uh-huh. But the land is still an item, uh-huh. on a piece of paper, uh-huh. that a settler has their signature on. Mm. So that's not land back to me. Mm. But I've known of a few different organizations that have reached out to indigenous groups here in Texas saying that exact thing. Like, hey, we are this big group, excuse me, and we're going to buy this land, and we know that y'all are the indigenous peoples who have been stewarding this land the longest. So we'd like to have a meeting with y'all on how we can all collaborate on this land back effort. Mm-hmm. And when I've been in these meetings, I always bring up that point I just shared with you. Well, then that's not land back. Mm-hmm. That's land, I own it, mm-hmm. and we have to write down in this document everything I'm going to allow you to do, and all these meetings we're setting up. Mm-hmm. And you have to sign it too, mm-hmm. and I'm going to sign it. And you can come on the times I say you can come, mm-hmm. and the areas I say you can go. Mm. And if you don't do that, then our relationship is ruined.
Don't call the cops on
exactly,
you.
Like,
yeah.
And what's funny about these different meetings that I've been in is that those plans never come to fruition. Never. Because what ends up happening is I bring up okay. Mm-hmm. Where? How long?
Yeah.
How much? Uh-huh. What can we do? Yeah. What can we grow? Mm-hmm. What can we hunt? Yeah. When can we... And
can I live here for free?
Exactly. Yeah. Uh-huh. And so, no. Yeah. I personally don't know of anybody who's doing that. Mm-hmm. I know of a lot of groups or people that say they want to do it, but then when it actually comes down to it and they realize, oh, wow, like, I'm not looking to do land back, actually. I'm looking for some submissive and complacent indigenous peoples.
They're gonna rubber stamp it, do a land acknowledgement,
that are gonna appreciate my white saviorism or my settler saviorism, and say, "Oh, thank you so much for letting us be on your land you own." However, I can imagine that working. It just has to take a person who actually means what they say. Like, I can imagine this a big, like, not 501c3 because they always start to fuck up in their own ways, but like a big something, a big group, a big grassroots project, some, like, I don't know, land in some dude's family, and now he just kind of does whatever on it. I can imagine that situation reaching out to like an indigenous group and saying, yeah, like on paper, this is my land. It is. I own it. But come whenever you want.
Yeah, do whatever.
Do whatever you want. I trust you.
Yeah.
You're a native. I know you're not going to go out here and start, burning everything down. I mean, unless it's a controlled burn.
Yeah. Unless it's like a traditional
exactly.
practice.
Do whatever you want.
Start drilling for oil.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it working.
Yeah.
And I know, I don't like hippies. But I do know of like these fucking hippie compounds where that's exactly what's happening. Not with natives though, with themselves.
Yeah.
Like one rich, what do they call it? Like Nepo hippie. It's like, here's my sacred land here in Arizona. Yeah. Like everybody come
steward it with me.
Yeah, come steward it. Like here I have like my friend Forest Fire and like their duality, Krypton or whatever the hell. And like they meet there and like they live there in their RVs and Airstreams, and they do fucking ayahuasca, and they are growing their hydroponic lettuce and tomatoes, and they're making sourdough, and they're taking care of the land, and there's no indigenous peoples involved, but that's exactly the deal they have. Come whenever you want. Do whatever you want. It exists, but I haven't encountered it yet.
So would you say the only, like, in your perspective, the only way for a settler to ethically own, or is it possible for a settler to ethically? Okay. So,
I don't think so. But there is a way for a settler to bear the burden of unethically owning the land. To share it. And share it. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. And that would look like just kind of trusting that land to like using whatever, private, like the cover that they're offering via the private property regime to like using that to grant access to indigenous and obviously people. Like the systems in place contemporarily aren't conducive to like a deal like that not having paperwork. Like let's say there's this settler who's like, here's my land, come whenever you want, do whatever you want, and they do. And then that settler starts to get old, and they're gonna die soon. And then what happens? Does that settler donate it to the people, or does that settler have an offspring and they've convinced the offspring to keep this going? And also, what if the tribe wants to build a cultural center on that land? Is the settler gonna say, okay, how are we gonna do this? Or is the settler gonna say, no, protect the land? I know there's like issues and there's conflicts, but those are natural. There is a way. And so as people's imaginations, people are continuously being asked to constrict their imagination. They're constantly being asked to imagine less what liberation might look like under the confines that exist present day. And so that's why I'm thinking, it could happen. But in all actuality, as I said, I've never encountered it, so I don't actually have an idea. I find this discussion very interesting because, like I said, I have strong feelings about land use, land management. Most of what I see disgusts me. And so then it's like, okay, well, just going back to the discussion of just like systems and everything, and like all these systems that were created and the status quo, the way the default operating mode of the system is to destroy and extract, right? And there's no
short of, getting in like a firefight with the cops, there's not really a way to like divorce yourself from the system. Like the system is totalizing. Like that was the project of colonizing this continent, was making it was that was the like going back to like Florida history, like that was the impetus for the United States taking over Florida. Was it offered a place for indigenous people of various stripes to flee to, and then also escape slaves. And that was so, the concept of that existing near to like Georgia, like these slave states, was so disgusting to the white people that they invaded before it was even the United States. But back when it was technically belonging to Spain, they were invading illegally into Spanish territory and like doing raids on camps and stuff. Like it was, and then eventually the Spanish were like, we don't want to deal with this, sold it to the U.S., and then that's when all the Seminole Wars started kicking off. So like that was another instantiation of just, we will allow no refuge to these people. To no, like there is no place that these people can escape from our system. And that the thought that there is so unacceptable to the to the colonial project that we will wage wars. We will have our own sons die to exterminate, to the best of our ability, this refuge, these people that are seeking refuge in like the Everglades. Like, no, at the time it was not anywhere that any white people wanted to live. It was like an ocean of grass and swamps, and there was people living down there, and we were killing our sons so that we could deprive these people of a place to live and thrive. Right? That is how totalizing the system is until further notice. Right? And so like I find it very interesting to kind of conceptualize, brainstorm different ways. Like, okay, like how can we work together and not, like to your point, be limited by our imaginations, work within the structures of the system and also our own ability to generate resources and everything to offer land back to people, like create spaces that, regardless of what the technical ownership is in the, in terms of the eyes of the state, at least in the short term, if whoever owns it, if they're dedicated to that project, once they die, like I think they should just give it back. Like, you're dead, it doesn't matter. Like, and if you have kids, then you want your kids to be able to use the land. Like, you can probably come to an agreement with the people that you're ceding it to, I would imagine. Like, like my kids, they want to live here. Don't kick them off or whatever. Like, please. So I don't know. I think that this is something that I would like to continue to kind of think about, because like they say, they're not making any more of it, land, right? But every day the system destroys more of it and cuts it up further. And I think that as a settler, one of the most impactful things you can do is to begin to divorce your extractive relationship from it, and then find a way for, at least to begin, to allow indigenous people to interface with it again. But at the same time, like, the kind of tension in all of this is that, like we were saying earlier, like, I'm not going to go back to Ireland, probably not. They're not, and they don't want me either. So like, I will continue to exist on these lands because this is where I was born, and to me it's home, right? And when I start to have children, they will also continue to exist here, right? If they want to, I mean, whatever, barring something happening, like, that is what I'm planning, right? And so the ownership of land being tied to blood is a very interesting concept. And it is kind of like, it becomes this, it's like, it's definitely, just, that is the potential for kind of tension in these discussions, as you were just saying. Like, whenever you show up to these projects and you call them out, you're like, this isn't actually land back. They're like, and then it doesn't work out, right? And so, like, those things will need, if this project is to progress in, like, allyship, basically, with other settlers, it's like there will have to be a point at which those tensions are reconciled. And I feel like it would probably just look like being like, hey, I'm going to give this land to your people, right? But I also want my children to be able to have a relationship with the land. Like, what does that look like? Say, in a theoretical scenario, what would you say to that if that was being offered to you? It's like, old Jim Bob Grandpop has acres somewhere, wants to cede it to your property. He's like, but also my children, who are settlers, they're white people, they want to continue to live here, have a relationship with it. How would you respond to that?
Well, Jim Bob's about to die, so it's very easy to say, of course, Jim Bob, and then he's dead. Then it depends on if the children are assholes or not.
Yeah, true.
So, not every settler that arrived here was violent, but being a settler is inherently violent.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would completely be up from tribe to tribe. If I'm imagining it like this is happening like to the Karankawa people, like some nice old white dude died and we've been using his land and he was super chill, but he has like 3 kids. He's about to die, says, hey, like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna give this land to you. And we're like, wow, thank you so much, Jim Bob. Like, truly goated.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, yes, but please, like, keep my children there. Like,
mm-hmm.
they're good kids. Hopefully by then we've already established a relationship with his children,
mm-hmm.
and we can talk to them and figure out what that looks like. But me personally, I believe Jim Bob doesn't have a say, and Jim Bob never had a say.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Bob benefited from the violence of his ancestors and did the right thing to the people whose land it didn't even originally belong to. Like, that's where ownership is such a colonial ideology. Like, when we say, like, land back, it's not because we own the land.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because we're entitled to the land. It's because we come from the land. That is our mother.
Yeah.
Like, we literally came from this land. We all have creation stories that say, yep, many, many years ago, there was water underneath this bitch, and then we were pulled out from it, and slowly we became human. Like, we have creation stories to this land.
Mm-hmm.
It is not ownership. You are saying, return to your mother. Your mother's coming back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And what settlers are saying is, I think she's pretty, and so I'll take care of her because it's the right thing.
Yeah.
We're also saying that, but also we're saying, actually, that's my fucking mother.
Uh-huh.
And I need to be back with her because we are related.
Yeah.
We have been in pain for so long. I've been seeing how you've been treating her. We miss each other. And without each other, it is not in balance because that is my mother and I am her child. It is so different.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt Jim Bob's children get that. But if they can believe what we're saying about that relationship, then I'm sure there's conversations to be had. Like, they'll be like, yeah, sure, Jim Bob's kid, you can stay in, like, the most northwestern part of this area, and you can fuck off to do who knows what.
Yeah, probably four-wheelers.
Yeah, like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you know, keep it down, like, when the sun goes down, like, there's, like, noise ordinance here.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it'd be different from tribe to tribe. I can imagine it working, but I'd also be a little bit miffed. I'd be like,
Jim Bob's kids.
Yeah, Jim Bob's fucking kids. Okay.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe they're cool.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they're so cool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, like, actually move into the camp.
Yeah.
Like, we gave him tribal markings. Like, I don't know. But on instinct, I'm like, why Jim Bob telling me what to do again?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why? Does he think he can? Because he did the bare minimum right thing to us.
Yeah.
But that's just what I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's almost like land back, like, because I don't know. It's one of those things you hear a lot. Anything that gets kind of sloganized, it just gets like the specifics of it just get kind of lost. I think it's super interesting, just the questions of like what, given economic, monetary, legal, all the restrictions that we exist under, like given all those realities, like what would it actually look like?
Yeah.
And especially like, you know, me as a person who does no indigenous ancestry as far as I know, like, you know, like what does that mean to be a party to that project? Because like I agree, it's important and it should happen. And I mean, it will happen on a long enough timeline, but you know, it's just like in terms of like the shorter timelines of like that we exist under right now and the systems that we exist under. Yeah, I like to ponder different ways that it can happen.
In my like perfect imaginary world, I imagine all these different like indigenous led local groups divesting enough from like American structure where the structure then starts to collapse because there's no more participation. I'm not even just talking like nobody's voting anymore. I'm talking about like nobody's going to grocery stores anymore. Hardly anybody is needing to like order things from Amazon anymore. Nobody is going to community centers anymore. They're actually staying on like the grassroots indigenous led like compound or whatever the fuck. And in this perfect world, I'm imagining enough people do this where the system collapses. Then there's conflict because America wants to uphold that colonial power.
Mm-hmm.
There's death, there's war, there always is whenever there's revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, it's settlers on the front lines, obviously, because like I'm indigenous, and I'm like, but it's not me, because we've already
y'all figured out.
Yeah, y'all got us
Yeah.
here. We'll help you.
Yeah.
Like we have different wisdoms from indigenous groups who have already done like revolutionary work. I just saw one of like this woman I really respect, Heishiwia, a red horn woman who was posting on how a Lakota oh gosh, I cannot believe I'm blanking on his name, but he's this very famous indigenous Lakota man who had a vision on how to best attack the colonial powers by looking at the sky and seeing how whenever thunder strikes, the singular bolt isn't actually so singular at all. It branches and branches and branches, and then in many places all at once from one central location it strikes. And he was thinking, well, wow, if Mother Nature shows us that there is power in many different rays from the same band, all going and striking in different locales at once, perhaps we could do that. And his vision and what he learned from Mother Earth was true, and it worked for that coup, I believe. But yeah, after the conflict, after all the death and all that, and I've never seen war, so what do I know? I'm just an indigenous woman. But after the war and after all that, then there's the revitalizing, the rebuilding, and not so much returning to the way things were, because you can never do that. But attempting then to make natural what has always been natural, which is just living in honest inclusion and stewardship with the land, and doing what she wants to do, meaning like when the Colorado River downtown grows all her green algae on it, we don't kill that algae because we want to keep swimming. We let the algae grow because that is a natural response to too much heat and sun as the climate is changing, to shade the living things underneath it and stop them from burning up. We stop fucking with the earth because you can't, like, she's perfect. Like she, and what I've been taught and what I believe is she's like the only thing that's perfect if we don't fuck with her outside of like death. Like death and the Mother Earth, like they're just doing what they should be doing.
Yeah.
Sometimes she gets sick, but even that's very natural. Everybody gets sick. Nothing's designed to live forever in the way it does. That's what it looks like in my imagination.
Yeah, my theory on how people will start to find zones of refuge again is as climate change marches on. It's one of my little special interest is like looking like 20, 30-ish years in the future, what things will look like climatically at the time, like what will Arizona be like in 2050? What will Florida be like in 2050? That's where I'm from, so that's very interesting to me. And basically what very possibly will happen is as things get worse, as the climate becomes more and more destabilized, there are places now that are highly desirable to live that nobody's going to want to live. Like Florida is a great example. Like sea level rise is going to get really bad. Hurricanes are going to get really bad. It's going to get way hotter, and people will leave because they're there for a particular type of climate. Also, a big part of it too will be insurance markets, because the insurance system was what holds up like global capitalism. It's like, because just all these bankers are looking around. It's like, do I want to buy a bunch of houses in a place that's going to get wrecked by a hurricane? Like, maybe not. Can't get insurance for it. Not going to do it. So as those systems of capital de-risk themselves, the areas that are highly desirable right now will start to just lose economic viability. And as they lose economic viability, the federal government may start to basically pull out of those areas, because it's like, well, like there's not really
like a dead zone.
Yeah, like the population is going down. I'm sure it would still be like claimed by it, but there will be areas where, like, we're not going to rebuild this road.
Yeah.
Because like it's going to get destroyed again anyways, and also there's not that many people living here, and then that rot will kind of just proceed. And as the rot proceeds and the system retreats to more stable areas, there will be people that are like, I don't want to be a part of this system anymore. And then they will move to those places and they will find a way to live there and thrive there. Might be a while, maybe like 100 years, maybe more. All those things will happen. Like that is for me, kind of the core, I don't know, like schizophrenic, like confused, just completely disoriented, divorced from reality headspace that our civilization operates under, is that's not what's going to happen, but it's going to happen. Like there are places that are super desirable to us now, like the broader like American real estate market.
Okay, well, it's just because they have like a timeline that insists that 10 years.
Yeah, it's all so short term. Okay. Yeah, and the fact that we are not thinking in those terms, like that, on like a civilizational level, that we are so obsessed with these short term timelines. Right. If you're not thinking in those terms, like it is an amazing opportunity, because like it's like just watching everyone else walk into traffic, and you're like, oh, maybe I'll just go over here, like not walk into traffic, and it'll probably work out pretty well for me. So there are. Yeah, just that whole headspace, like I try to inhabit. Let me not be brain poisoned by this short-term thinking about literally everything. And and it's just all these things are inevitable. Like things will start to get really weird in our lifetimes. Like, it's already happening.
Well, that's indigenous ideology. Yeah. To always be living for the next 7 generations. 25 times 7, whatever the hell that is. That's how many years we're meant to be thinking ahead.
One of the things I really like about you and respect about you is just how open you are with your identity, and just like how the way you see the world, how you meet all the contradictions of the world with your own perspective. More people should do that, in my opinion. Just speak honestly and radically from the conclusions they've come to about the world, and especially if it's informed by their own heritage and identity. And what would you say to someone that is looking to embody a more radical, authentic view of the world, and that's trying to meet the world with that perspective but isn't sure how to do so?
I would say that you have to be willing to be met with conflicting information. You have to be willing to be wrong and to be corrected and to learn from being corrected. You have to be humble. You have to be confident, and also you have to be confident in admitting that sometimes you don't know. But at the basis of it all, just being honest and being radically intentional. And so this is hard. So what I do, and I've always done this, I don't know how and I don't know why, this is just how I am, is I have always had a goal. And as soon as I wake up in the morning, from the time I wake up to I go to bed, absolutely every single thing I do, no matter how minute, is to get to that goal. The food I eat, the clothing I choose to purchase and wear, how much I move during the day, how much I sleep during the day, what I say, what I make, the job I say yes, I'll do, the jobs I say no, I'll do. Absolutely every single choice I make is informed by a goal I have. Luckily for me, I've had the same goal for the last 15 years, and so it makes it pretty simple. But sometimes the goal changes. But yeah, I wake up, I have a goal. And it's a goal that isn't self-serving. It's a goal that's for my people. And so let's say you're just a settler and you don't feel like you have a people. Well, then it's a goal for the future generations. Those are your people. The future generations are everybody's people. We also, going back to how a lot of us Americans, I can only really speak to us, is how a lot of us live in this reality that is not real, and it's on such a short timeline. We're thinking, for most of the people here, we're just thinking about the end of our lives. I have maybe 78 good years in me, and then that's it. That's all I have to worry about. Well, no, that's not it. Not only will you die, and it's inevitable, and it's coming for you, but after you die, there's more, way more. And I think that if we all lived our lives pushing for what's happening after I'm gone, and how can I make sure it's better, then you can't really go wrong. There's this quote, I think it's Greek, but I could be wrong, that says, the mark of a successful civilization is when old men plant trees whose shade they will never sit in.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, I love that one. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. Like, I'm doing all this labor for free, mostly for free for my people, because I want the future generations to not have to do this work if they don't want to.
Yeah.
I want them to, when they encounter somebody that says, oh, like, are you native? They say, yes, I'm Karankawa. The people say, oh, I've heard about you. And not so much oh, thought y'all were all dead. Like, just like little stuff like that. But that's the goal. And it's awesome because it gives me fulfillment. It gives me purpose. It's the answer to all my questions. Whatever shit's tough and I want to die, I'm like, no, I can't yet. I have stuff to do. I have so much just work I want to do for the people who are coming later, because I can tell I'm lucky enough to know people of the next generation and the generation after that, and they're so cool, and I feel so terrible for them because this world that they've been born into is not their fault. It's the fault of the elder generations for some of them creating it, and then it's the heartbreak of the elder generations for understanding that everything they did simply wasn't enough yet. Yeah. But if we keep going, for the future generations, honest and intentional, you're gonna fuck up, admit it. It's only embarrassing if you're embarrassed. You know, like nobody's perfect. Be accountable. Do your best whenever you can. There's no way to mess it up.
Yeah. Yeah, do it for the unborn.
Yeah.
Do it for, the ability of like I said, just an owl to sit in the tree canopy and just hang out and do its thing. And, it's just like, just do it.
Do it for the inchworm.
Yeah, exactly. Do it for the little guys that can't speak for themselves. Whether that's, people unborn or kids that haven't figured out the world yet or, whoever. But I think that's a really powerful way of putting it, like you said, just it's not about you necessarily. Like, you are the vehicle that you drive. I'm a blip. Yeah, exactly. But it's just like being of the conception that it's about you and that, that you are capable of failing for wanting to try is just that's not true.
Yeah.
Like, you...
What an honor.
Yeah, exactly. What an honor to even to be able to have the opportunity.
What an honor I got to be on this path and fuck it up a little bit.
Yeah, truly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, that's a good answer. Yeah, just the only kind of slogan of mine lately is like, the only failure is inaction.
Yes, yes.
Like, the only...
Big on that.
That's the only way that you can fail.
Yep.
Anything else, as long as you're following, like, what you know to be true about the world, then you're on the right track.
And you can readjust after learning new
information. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
I mean that is a form of failure too on the path.
Right.
Is not adjusting.
Yeah.
Just be like, I made up my mind and I'm not changing anything.
That's how it is.
Yeah. So, but yeah, good answer.
What you see on the surface is just the surface, and you're wrong. There's actually way more to it. Everything is intelligent. Absolutely everything that the Mother Earth makes. Everything is living that she makes. Everything is breathing that she makes. And everything's helping each other. And everybody, whether they know it or not, are part of something much larger than themselves. And I hope nobody ever figures out why. Mm-hmm. And that's so fun.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no need for simple answers. Just bask in the mystery of it all.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, it makes everything so much weirder and more interesting if there's no way I'll ever know.
Cool.
And that's cool.
Yeah, that's so sick. Yeah. Like, that's so exciting to me. I'm like,
totally.
Wow.
Yeah, the endless mystery. Yeah, we just live a million different lifetimes in a million different bodies to get ever so vanishingly close to the truth, but maybe we'll never know, and maybe that's the whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Chiara, thank you for your time. This has been a lovely conversation. Is there any, like, if someone wanted to find you in some way or another, how could they do so?
I'm most easily found on Instagram Chiara. If you don't know how to spell that, it's fine. Just look up Chiara, you'll find me. My peoples have a website where we post our most recent call to actions, what we've been up to. That's chiranquez.com. Yes, that's how they can find me.
Great. Well, thanks. And
yeah, thank you.
Peace out.
Woohoo.
Woohoo. And that concludes my discussion with Chiara. Please, I put the link to her things in the bio. I mean, she's way bigger than I am on any particular platform. She doesn't really need the help. But if you're interested in her, go find her on Instagram or whatever. And many thanks to her. I really appreciate her for giving me so much of her time to listen to me yap for a lot of it. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, check out the YouTube channel, Compost Modernism. It means a ton to me that you're here and that you watch to the end. Please stay tuned. And don't forget, power first. Let's go.